All right, everybody. This is going to be quick. Constructors, we talked about this Monday, but constructors have no return type and they have the same name as the class, exactly the same name. So if the class is the book class, notice the constructor is capital B book. And then in another class, if we executed this line, book B1 equals new book with a title and an author and a title, then it would call the constructor. So we've seen that happening. We just saw it with the student class you just wrote. This is important. Variables passed in as parameters only exist inside the constructor right when it runs. So in this case, I'm talking about the A and the T. So if we did public book and then you sent over an A for author and a T for title, these variables A and T, they cease to exist. As soon as this code runs, then they're gone. And I recommend not using your private variable names as the parameters. See how I use A for author and T for title? It can help prevent confusion. And there is a way to make it work if you use exactly the same name, and we'll learn that, but not today. So, or maybe today, I forget. Oh, here we do. Here we do learn it. If you do use exactly the same variable, then you have to do this. You have to say this dot author inside, which means the author variable that's part of this class, not the author variable that's right here. But this seems like it's way worse than just saying string A and string T, and then author equals A, title equals T. When I was walking around the room, I saw somebody had a bunch of code filled with the this things, and to me that shows me that you used AI to write your assignment, because I didn't teach you this, and you don't need to use this, and I'd recommend not using this. So whereas AI tends to just go straight to that, so it's a real red flag. Don't have AI write your code for you. If you create a class, separate topic, and don't write a constructor, Java provides an invisible constructor that sets all the variables to the default values. So ints go to 0, doubles go to 0, strings go to null. Booleans, I forget. I think false. For example, look at this class. There's no constructor. We have class battery, private double charge level, private string brand, and then there's a toString. So if I create one of these batteries, there's no way to say it's a D battery or a 9-volt battery. But if I print it, what do you think will get printed? It'll say brand. It'd say brand null, because brand is a string. Strings get set to null. It says right here. And charge, it would say 0. So if I ran this code, battery B equals new battery, system.print the battery, it would say brand null, percentage charge 0. That's because there's no constructor. So normally we would write a constructor. Everybody, you can overload constructors just like you can overload methods. So look at this person class. I made 3 constructors. Each one has a different signature. Remember, the signature is the number and type of the parameters. So this top person constructor takes a single name, a string. The second one takes a name and an age. And the third one takes a name and age and a color, maybe eye color. And so Java can tell which one to call and which code to run, because when you say person Hayes equals new person, and then you send over some information, Java looks to see what information are you sending. Is it 1 thing, 2 thing, or 3 things? And then it also checks that the things are the same types of things. And then it matches up the right constructor and runs it. Which of these constructors to the right would be allowable as a 4th constructor? Matthew. Let's take a look. I don't know. So this one, string color, if you wanted to make a constructor where you just sent over the eye color, we can't do that because we already have one that takes a string. It's not looking at the variable name. It's looking at the type of the variable. So we can't do one because there's already one that takes a string. This one is a string and an int. We already have a string and an int, and even though it's a different variable, we can't do that. This one, though, is an int, a string, and a string, and we could do that because there is nothing over here that has an int, a string, and a string in that order. There is a string, int, string, but the order matters in it's called the signature of the constructor. Only number 3 is allowable. I just explained that. So a word about toString methods. Most custom classes have a toString. Starts like this, and then it returns some kind of string. You don't print things inside the toString. You return a piece of text. So here's the toString from the battery class. If you don't have a toString method and you try to print one of your custom classes, you get something like this. And that tells you that you're printing a battery, but that you didn't write a toString. Sometimes people write toString without the right upper and lower, like they write toString and the S has a small letter. And Java cares about case, so it's like, fine, I'll print the stupid version instead of the fancy version because there's no toString, even though you thought you wrote one. toStrings can have all kinds of logic in them too. So here's one that's for the charge level is below 70. It says low charge. Otherwise, it just sends back the charge. So the toString code is just regular Java code. You do all kinds of things, but you just have to return a piece of text at the end. Yeah, you could do what I showed on that last one with the if-else. All right, so the last thing we have for today, and we have 5.5 minutes. You should get started, like fork it anyway, is a cat class, where you get to write a class that represents cats. And it's going to be a lot like the student class, except with cats.